Hello, today I'm going to show you how I'm going to take a single character made out of many different meshes and materials, merge it all into a single one mesh for the VAT export. And while I'm at it, this model that is going to be 21,476 vertices is actually only going to generate data for 9,332 of those vertices. So the texture is going to get optimized. So let's start. All right, so I'll choose this character over here, Remy. I'll go to animation and I'll search for sitting. I'll be making a VAT of someone who's sitting. So I can take multiple animations and merge them later. I'll just make sure to take something where the knees kind of fit. So I'll take sitting clap, and you'll understand why later. Sitting yell and sitting idle over here. Okay, so I've already got a folder prepared over here. I'm just gonna copy paste my files. There they are. And inside of Unity, I'm just gonna go make sure that the import is okay. All right, he's over there. And if I go to animation, yeah, the animation's working. Okay, I just got to extract the textures, yeah, over here, and then extract material as well. Blah, 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 normals, fix now. Okay. All right, so now if I place him here, I'll just place him at the center of my scene. We don't need the crab for this. I'll hide it. Um, So in the Smart VAT window, now we got this new character, right? And I'm gonna drag all the different parts of him that are meshes into here. Missing render. Okay, I think that's just a bug. Yeah, it starts with body. Yeah, okay. And he's gonna need an animator or an actual timeline as well. So I'm just gonna click create new from animated object. And now it's asking me for a place to save it. I'll just put it here in characters. I'll call it Remy timeline.playable. All right. So it already linked the character over here, which is named sitting clap. Um, and all I have to do is drag the animations that I want to blend over there. So we'll start with the idle. I'll drag it here. Then we'll say that he's whatever, he's clapping, put it there. And then yeah, clapping, idle, and yell. And we'll drag it here. Okay, and I'll just copy paste the idle so that oops, so that the animation can loop back on it at the end. I'll just make this larger over here. It's gonna make it easier. Okay, so right now, yeah, if I click this timeline over here, okay, I thought it wasn't working. The idle is really completely static while the hand is moving a little bit. Um, that's the animation. The hands are going through, but what can we do with it about it? So I'll cut a bit of the idle because it's not interesting to have an animation that does nothing. So it will more be like just a static pose that it will go back to. So that's the animation. He claps and then he puts his hands down, and we'll blend this one a little bit too. So he puts his hands down, but you know what? Let's blend it even more. And then he transitions to yelling, and then we'll transition it back to the end of the animation of the idol, like this. So he yells and then he puts his hands back. Okay, so I'm gonna hit save, And then this character is made from different pieces, right? So they're all using different materials. So we need for the material merge mode to select what we want to use. And for this exercise, I'll be using texture array. So by default, oh, it should start with 0, but they each have a different number, but you can click auto detect array index. And what this does is that it checks for the texture that's assigned in the material, and it figures out what material should get blended together. It checks for the texture because sometimes you might have different materials that use the same texture, and we're trying to make everything as efficient as possible, and I don't want to duplicate the same textures because we're going to export this to an array. So it knows that these three use the same texture. After that, I can click, let me close this. I can click Smart VAT texture array tool. And as you can see, it sent all of our detected textures to this tool over here that is going to be used in order to export um, the array that we'll use later. So I'll just create a VAT folder here, and then I'll change this to Remy, and I'll name it diffuse. All right, 1024, 1024. Oh, wait, 4 of 5 source textures don't match the target size. Okay, so all the textures have been stretched. I'll actually, it's gonna be a big array, so I can click this over here and I can force it to be a 1024. So instead of 4 textures getting upscaled, 1 texture is getting downscaled. And I'll go back to Smart VAT, and I can do the same thing for the normal map. So I click this, and then Smart VAT array tool, okay, and all of the textures are there. 1024 again. It already knows it's a normal, so it already checked the linear option over here. And I'll name this normal, and I'll create the array. All right, so let's go back here. Um, at this point we should not touch these numbers because it really corresponds to the result that's gonna get baked. Like the index of which texture each part should be is gonna be baked in the mesh itself. Uh, so once you've done this over here, well, if you need to change something for some reason, just make sure to restart the process. Um, so let's just go and determine where we'll export our asset, and we'll name this guy VAT Remy. And before I click export, I'll just preview the vertices that will get filtered out. Because that's the strength of this tool is to optimize textures based on movement. Well, actually, you know what? I'll just export it anyway, and I'll explain how we can optimize it further. So right now, as you can see over here, some stuff was yellow. That means that those vertices they move, but not their normals. And well, right now the problem is that the character is a bit shaky, right? That's the animation itself that was like that. Not It's not a result of the VAT. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna filter that out, and we'll use the mesh preview to like slowly decrease or increase actually what gets filtered out. um, yeah, that's the preview. We can delete it. It just creates a temporary mesh in the scene. And over here in movement filter, if I increase this number and I click the mesh preview, you'll see the colors have changed. Everything that's black is not going to be moving at all. I think we can make it even better than that, so I'll put it to a value of 1. All right, so now that's everything over here won't move. What's blue means that the normal moves over there, but not the vertices. So we can increase the normal filter as well. Let's test it again. Okay, yeah, this is pretty satisfying. So now the legs are really gonna be completely static and their vertices won't move either. So I'll just delete this guy. I won't change anything here and I'll export VAT again. We'll see the result instantly. So there he is. Um, Now I know this because I worked on this tutorial earlier and I already made a pass on it. You'll see there's a bit of a glitch happening in the eye. This is because of our matching vertices. One or more vertices, no, two or more vertices, sorry, are detected to be having the same movement. If our value is too small, it can, I mean too high, it can create some issues like we saw in the eye. I'll just disable this feature entirely right now, and I'll click re-export again. So it regenerates the material and everything. So I'll just slow down the movement again, and we can zoom in on the face. And as you can see, it's no longer creating that weird mess anymore. Uh, so now that we have this character, all we need to do is assign the texture arrays that we created. Oh yeah, I can delete this one. That was the one that was too heavy. It was a 2048. Okay, so let me go back on this guy over there. So I'll just assign the array. So as you can see, the shoes fit, the pants fit, and everything. And then we do it for the normal as well. And there we go. It looks weird. The hands are not touching, and this is because our export settings had a frame count of 32. So this kind of thing can happen when you have, like I don't know how to call it, but the most exaggerated part of the animation or the pose happens to get to be between two frames that are exported. So we can fix this by increasing the number of frames that get exported, and we can just export the VAT again. Did I? Wait, yeah, I increased it to 64. Okay. Just gonna apply the textures again and make it slower. So it's a bit better now. Of course, we mixed three animations together to create this, but yeah, ideally, if you were dealing with animations that you're creating yourself at work, you could basically make the animations have the actual same frame amount as what you're gonna export to. This way you can ensure that all the exaggerated poses are landing directly on the keyframe that gets exported. But yeah, that's it. So we got 5 different textures that got merged in an array to make this character work. And it works, thanks to this feature, it works directly with Mixamo. As you can see here, it's all one single object. If we click the final result, you'll see it's actually 21,476 vertices, but our textures, the normal is 5,000 something of resolution in X. This means that only 5,426 vertices created some texture data for the normal, and for the movement, it's 13,000, which is a lot less than the actual total count of the entire mesh together. Oh, well, you know what? There's a feature that we didn't use earlier, the match filter. Let's see what would happen if I keep it on, but with a value of 0. So only vertices that are precisely exactly overlapping and have the same movement. So right now our vertex count, well, our position count is, yeah, 13,000. Let's just make the test and export the VAT. Okay, and now, okay, we went down a tiny little bit actually to 12,000. Um, let's try to put a very small value, but let's try to not also bring in the bug we had earlier. And let's export this. Okay, so let's see now with that tiny value. No, it's still, we didn't gain much. I'll give it a 0.005. Let's try it this way. Okay, and now our texture is 9,000. Okay, so we just saved a lot of space here. Um, let's just see if we still have that bug on the character. I think it's easier to spot if I actually put the textures here. The eyelashes are weird. That's because the material must have been using some transparency, and now it doesn't. But yeah, the face seems to be okay. The eyes are all right. So yeah, this just shows how much more you can actually save by using this tool. So we just got rid of 3,000 pixels. All right, so that's it. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them here in the comments of the video. And I would really appreciate some reviews on the asset store, please. Thanks for watching and have a good one.